Let's do it.
Ladies World, party time, excellent, woo! Okay, and we're back. All right, and now that we've scared away,
all right.
Ben is like Jared. Remember Jared looked at us.
He hadn't seen it, so he was like,
Have you at least seen Wayne's
Yes,
World?
I've seen
Okay.
Like all the Wayne's Worlds?
Not all of them, but I've seen most
party
of them.
on.
What do you mean most of them? There's only like
There's two.
There's
right?
two, yeah.
Yeah,
there's
but
just
like
two.
I've seen almost all of the second one, not all of the second
Oh, okay.
one.
I never
I
really
didn't know
It
Like-
falls asleep.
Okay.
You can fall asleep in this show.
Whoa.
no, you cannot fall asleep in Wayne's World.
I can fall asleep in whatever.
Okay,
Okay,
well,
I always thought it was cool to have like the licorice or the Twizzlers like thing that they had like
Oh,
in the
in the
car.
car.
Yeah, I always thought that was so cool.
Yes. Actually, that
And
is
I was like,
yes.
when I grow up, I'm gonna have that.
And
I don't remember the last time I ate a
the
Twizzler.
car they were
No,
driving was
Yeah.
it was a Pinto, right?
Yeah,
was
like
a
that
Pinto-
little blue like
Ford Pinto.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, and all right.
Yeah.
So, hey, we are back, right?
Yes.
It was a little bit of hiatus, but we told you guys that we were not going to be gone for too long,
No.
right? So, in between the last time, I think we were doing Transformation Project was right before,
Yes.
right? So, we've had the Transformation Projects finished. We had the
Open.
Yeah, so
Hey.
I'm glad that is over.
Me too.
But-
As coordinator, it was
so-
a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. But
Yeah,
I
but
thought you
it's
did a really
okay.
good. I think you did a really good job this year.
you.
I think we had a lot of
Thank
fun.
You made it
we're-
happen.
Made it
Yeah.
happen.
So speaking of which,
Yeah.
so with us today is
Yeah.
Ben Collins, right? So
Who
welcome,
won
Ben.
every event we had.
Hey, that's actually good for
Yeah.
bringing him after the Open.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So
She got my medals.
Oh yeah,
Actually,
three times.
hey, so actually Courtney's upstairs working on shirts.
Yes, we got your shirts coming, guys. It's been a lot. It's fine.
Well, you're
Yeah.
pointing there, but he's right here too.
Your shirt too. Champ.
Oh, okay.
Champ.
Right.
Triple champ, got it.
Triple champ.
So with Ben being here, right, we'll kind of go through some of your background like we did with Jared and Jerry. I was like, who else
Yeah.
do we have on
Yeah.
this show?
Jerry.
Jared.
That's right.
Jerry.
And then we've got some other stuff coming for you, but I mean, thank you. Welcome to the show.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you being here. I'm going to just go ahead and start it, and we'll kind of get to some announcements and stuff in a little bit. But, man, you've been here, what? How long now? 6 months? 4 months?
7 months now.
Hey.
7
Whoa.
months as of like 2 days ago, I think, actually.
Ah,
Like,
happy anniversary.
Yeah, I moved August 17th.
So that was kind of like just a perfect, like,
Yes.
not really a storm,
The
but
scenario that happened could not have gone like so
right.
well.
Because we
Right.
lost
Yeah.
the coach, right? I
Yep.
mean, and then like Doug said, I have a friend that's coming
Yeah.
in. And then basically you walked in that day. I think it was a Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like,
that's
here,
what
I'm
we-
here for weightlifting.
Yep.
And we started talking, and I was like, hey, man, this guy actually knows what he's doing. I
Yeah.
saw you snatching. And, like, snatch is one of those things that you can watch people, you're like,
Yeah.
you
He's
know
an
that-
athlete.
yeah.
Yeah, he knows what he's
they
doing.
What's
kind of
going
know
on.
what they're doing
Yeah, for sure.
just by watching
Oh,
them warm up a snatch. It doesn't really have
That's
to
true.
mean, like, even what's on the
Yeah.
bar.
No, like
just-
an empty bar and the way they shrug, you're like, oh yeah, you
Yeah.
got it. You got this.
And so
That's true.
you ended up, we asked you to coach for us,
Yep.
right? So, honestly, I'm upset whether you can't be here more, right? But,
Well,
As of now.
as of currently, but
right. So, you're currently working at Equinox, right?
correct.
Right.
Correct.
And you coach for us usually what, 4 or 5 hours a week?
Yes, he was coaching Saturday. Now he's got Thursday, and hopefully to add another evening soon.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but Ben brings a wealth of knowledge to the gym, and we'll get in kind of your background here a little bit. But when I heard about all the stuff, and the places you'd been, the things that you'd done, I was like, Alyssa.
Yeah.
I actually remember I was sitting in this office, and I was like, hey, I just talked to this guy. His name's Ben. You know that coaching vacancy we have?
Yeah.
Might
Now,
do
here we
it.
go.
I really think we need to hire this
And
guy.
I'm pretty sure both of us were like, he's not gonna want to work for us.
I know.
Like, we saw you like your resume, and I was like, okay. And I was like, oh, actually, he
Yeah,
does. Okay, cool.
Actually, I think I sat in this chair and I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, like we really need to get this guy. Like
Yeah.
we really need to ask
And
him.
then I was like, and he looks like Rich Froning. No, I'm just kidding.
That's a story that we're already going to tell about this. That was one I had coming. Don't worry.
That's awesome.
All right, so we'll get into that in a second. But before we do that, we got somewhat of a format, right? So, some announcements. Like, what announcements can you start with first, Alyssa?
Man, so one, congrats to the people that won the Open. It was Team Jerry, yes?
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
Which
Wait,
is
who's-
awesome.
So, who specifically was on y'all's team?
Ooh.
Oh, there's a lot. So
Yeah.
if you didn't know, we usually do like AM versus PM, and it was this whole thing. Like, that's how we did it every year. And this year I was like, no, like, I want to do it different. I want some skin in the game. You're going to pay $10.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're going to
It's a real
win.
confidence.
Yeah. And so, like, it was a cool, like, way to kind of build the camaraderie around here. And, like, Jerry, who's newer at CrossFit, and then some of the, like, veterans who've been here forever, you know, have them set up a team. And so it was just really cool. It kind of just all worked out.
So
know?
the first night that I showed up, right, because I've kind of stayed out of the Open this year for multiple reasons, but I showed up and you were wrapping the rig, and I looked at it and I was like,
Yeah, I know.
I was like, wow.
Which is
okay.
very out of my comfort zone. I'm not like a decorator or anything. So I was like, okay, here I go. And I went to the most ghetto Hobby Lobby and dollar store because I was on another side of town. And was like, okay, what can $30 buy me here?
Wait, hold on, back up. Why did you go over there?
I was training.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was like where I was and fit my schedule, and it was very strange. I saw someone get in a fight at the dollar store, and I was
Melissa
like,
put
I'm
on her
just trying to
sunglasses
get.
and a hat. And
Wait,
Yeah.
hold on, back
I
up.
was just trying to get clipboards.
Wait, no, back up. Someone got in a fight?
Yeah, like this lady was fighting with someone on FaceTime, and then someone else came behind, and I was like, okay, I gotta go.
Wait.
I need my clipboard instead.
Like, not fist fight. They were just like arguing.
I know,
Like,
but
yeah.
like, were you standing in line?
Yeah.
So
In
like,
line
so
with 10 clipboards and like markers, and this lady is like, F beep 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 beep, and she's yelling at her, and I was
Sounds
like,
very dollar store if I've ever heard it.
Yeah, it was very dollar store, and someone was trying to get like hot candy, and I was like, this is not my place. Like, it was awkward. Yeah.
I mean, I've been to the dollar store a bunch of times. There's nothing wrong with the dollar store.
There's nothing wrong
No,
with
it's
it.
a great place,
No,
but
you
there's some
know, it's
interesting
just-
people that go there. That's for sure.
Okay.
You know, some
Well,
people were
There's
shocked.
some interesting people
Yeah.
there, here, and
Hey,
you.
you're not wrong.
You're not wrong. Those were
Yeah,
just
there's
not
people
my
all
people. Like, so it was fun, you know. Made good stories, I guess. But anywho, in conclusion, the Open
okay,
this year,
so
awesome.
Congratulations! I thought you did an
Thank
amazing
you.
job.
Thank you.
So I was very impressed. I think I gave you a hug like every single Friday
I know
night.
it was stressful. I did drop the ball on the food the first night. Thank you, Brandon Dalton. You don't have to remind me. But Randy and Teresa always come in clutch and like really save the day with that. So you know, I really appreciate them helping out with that because, like I said, not my area of expertise. So it was good.
And then it did end up getting a little craziness, you know, because you and I were used to leave a little early. There,
Yeah.
The last Friday.
Oh my gosh.
The last Friday, he was here, and I'm like, hey, man.
Last Friday was a lot.
I was like,
Yeah.
hey, man, just make sure, like, nobody, like, gets too stupid.
Yeah, don't get on the equipment.
Don't get on the equipment.
We attempted.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a funny story.
Nothing broke.
So before
good.
we were Grindhouse, we were Genesis, right?
Right.
And I worked for David. And so one time we had an event, and do you know the ditch we have over here by the 400 meter?
Oh, yeah, like the big, drainage.
So
Yeah.
David used to drive a giant truck, and Eric Allen decided to take
Oh,
that truck
jeez.
and vroom, like through it, completely destroyed the truck. Yeah.
jeez.
So like real time when
Wait,
we have events, it's
Did he
like
get stuck?
it
wild.
just the whole bottom just completely like it was totaled. They tried to jump the.
When did that happen?
It was before you.
Well, obviously, but like 13, like 14.
Yeah, I guess like 2013.
So you know how many times I've driven by that ditch in my truck?
And
I'm
you're like, yeah.
I just want to go. I just want to go.
Oh, clearly, just a little bit of alcohol will give you that bravery to go.
I mean, like,
Yeah,
because I
totally
have 4-wheel drive like on
Yeah.
my truck, and it's just a switch, and I
Yeah.
want to.
Oh, well.
It's been 9 years, right? So there's been 9 years, and we've been here. You know how many times I've driven by that ditch, and like,
Yeah.
I just want to go. Like, I really just want to go.
Well, don't.
and I'll never.
I don't think your Toyota Tacoma can handle all of that. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
If his truck
Hey,
couldn't.
so you remember during Harvey, like I came up here during
Oh,
Harvey
yeah,
and checked
yeah,
on the gym, and that thing was overflowing.
Yeah.
It was up on the top and
yeah,
flowing
that was
over the
wild.
bridge, and I'm standing on the bridge, and I had a picture. It was crazy,
Dang.
yeah.
Oh, that was strange times.
Yeah,
Anyways,
so,
good stuff.
but yes, that night we left, I was like, please,
Oh, yeah.
please. And you know,
Don't
okay,
try
so
to do a muscle up.
I think I told this story like so many times, but the
Gosh.
reason why I always tell people like stay off the equipment with alcohol is because when I first started CrossFit, there was a guy that used to have actually beer-induced wads.
Oh my gosh!
Like,
Like,
we would have-
those beer miles.
Oh yeah.
So dumb.
So he would have events at the gym where we actually had to play like flip cup and chug beers
Oh my.
as we were doing workouts. And so like,
Sounds fun, but a horrible idea at the same time.
Yeah.
but you gotta remember a bunch of 20-somethings.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
And so like,
Gatorade.
Yeah.
it was the whole gym was 20-somethings,
Yeah.
right? And so like we would have events and like you'd have like the box and there'd be lanes, like it was a full comp. And like we would set up and like you do like rounds where like your box was set and you had flip cup, you'd flip cup, like drink, flip cup, and when you finished it, you'd have to go do something.
Oh my god.
30 wall balls immediately afterwards. Got it.
It was like all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff. Every time like multiple people would just like yak all over the place.
Well,
What was that insurance policy
Yeah.
like?
So
God.
where he got in trouble was he was having these events. This is after Courtney and I left. But he was having these events, and like someone decided to get up on the rig,
Oh, no.
and so she was drunk. She fell backwards, and when she landed on her wrist and broke both wrists.
Ugh.
And man, insurance had a field
Oh,
day
I can
absolutely.
imagine.
No.
with that. So from that experience, yes, that's why I always tell people like,
Man,
I don't care if you drink,
No.
just stay off the equipment.
Yeah. Oof. No, I can't imagine that.
Right.
Yeah,
And this
that's
group,
bad.
like this group gets crazy.
Yeah, there's a party.
Yeah.
We didn't leave till 11:30. I didn't close this place until 11:30 that
Oh,
night.
wow.
Nice.
So I got on the computer and it was probably
Yeah.
it was like 10:30.
And it was still there?
And I just checked.
I was still sitting on the freaking bike the entire time.
And I
love
pulled up
it.
the cameras and there was still people.
I
They were
love it.
drinking. I did
Yeah.
see him. And I'm like, hey, thanks.
Yeah, okay,
Thank you,
that's there. That's funny. Well, good. I'm glad. That was the point. Everybody
so
hang
yeah,
out.
it
was fun.
It
I
was
was
good.
ready for bed, but
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I mean, I think this year I like that format. We had tried that format, man, what,
it's
like
been a while.
5 or 6 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we switched to AM, PM.
Right.
So I like that.
Just
So
yeah, this
next
was
year,
good.
I think we'll do that again.
Yeah, because it was completely voluntary. If you wanted to compete, do it.
Right. I think you did a
Yeah.
good job.
Thanks. I appreciate it, guys.
So announcements. The announcement I wanted to talk about was Jerry, right? So Jerry's still doing a really good job with his powerlifting program. He's actually planning on doing a mock meet on
Right.
May 13th. So powerlifting, we'll have a mock meet. I don't know the exact format. If we're going to do full meet, which is squat, bench, deadlift, or if he's going to bench and deadlift,
Okay.
or which, bench only, blah, blah, blah. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure he wants to do full meet, but
Nice.
I'll kind of let him dictate that. But you
Okay.
guys should be getting more information about that pretty soon.
Yeah, for
as
sure.
well.
And like with that, we want to kind of roll out a deadlift workshop coming up. Like I think that's the lift that is like people are most hesitant to do, but it's like one of the most beneficial. And he's so good at like kind of breaking things down. So I really want to bring something for everybody, not just the power lifters, to like feel comfortable deadlifting and know that like your lower back it's okay to strengthen it.
It is.
Like we're
You
so
need
many
to.
like
It is.
so
Two
many
coming from
of
a guy,
us.
two guys,
Three!
all three of us.
All of us have back
have
injuries.
back problems, and we all still deadlift. So
Yes, for
Yes.
sure. And so many people sit at their desk all day long or they're driving all day long. Like you have to work that muscle. Like it's just like anything else. And like to know how to do it correctly, to like be able to add accessory work to strengthen your back. Like it's going to be super beneficial. It won't be super expensive, but we are going to make it worth your value. Like,
I mean, that's a good point because I think the reason why, like, people ask why are we charging for this, but honestly, when we don't charge for stuff,
yeah,
People
you
just
kind of
don't-
just sweep it under the rug.
people don't really care.
Yeah.
So
there's
we
not
get
value to it.
correct,
Sure.
and then like so people like they'll say they'll come and we'll plan for a certain amount of people,
Right.
but they don't show up
Yeah.
because there's nothing that's not worth it to them, right?
Yeah.
There's no skin in the game.
Yep.
So I think we don't want to charge much, right? We're gonna charge.
Yeah, I think it's like $20, something like that. But like even that, like $20 for a couple hours from an expert and like hands on and learn, and you're gonna take away so much stuff. Like it's really worth it. Like I can go to a jiu-jitsu seminar and I'm gonna pay $150 just
Correct.
to learn from a professor for 2 hours. So
Right.
somebody in your house and you're supporting him too. Like that's awesome.
Right. Hey, and that money does not go to us.
No, that goes straight to Jerry.
It goes to Jerry. So you're not supporting us, you're supporting Jerry.
For
So,
sure.
all right. So deadlift workshop.
Yeah, and I'll have the dates and all that. I'll email that out as well.
timing? So we have a.
No, we're good. We got 5 minutes.
All right. So we got deadlift workshop.
Yeah.
We've got the
The mock meet.
Mock
Mhm.
meet. What else?
So by the time this rolls out, though, but I'm really excited. Tomorrow we're doing a women's only workout. And actually, I think some people from the community are coming out as well, not just the Grindhouse people.
did it-
so.
There you go.
You had a women's only jujitsu thing.
I did, yeah. I had like 30 girls come from just all around Houston.
So I'll talk about my creepiness again.
Nah.
So
Were you getting
What?
water? No,
What?
just kidding.
No. Because
Just kidding.
I was curious. I work at a computer all day,
Yeah.
right? So the cameras are easy. Anyway, so like I've been working my ass off for multiple reasons, but
Tax season.
that, yeah. Speaking of, I gotta get started. So, but that day I was curious. I'm like, because that woman said last time we had that was what, like 2 years ago?
Yeah, it's been a couple years.
And there was a lot of people here, and so I was curious. And I pulled it up, and I was like, "Wow!" Like there was a bunch of people here.
Yeah.
I mean, you had like a whole bunch of women in the cage.
Yep.
You had people on the mat. Like you had people everywhere.
Yeah,
so,
and it was so many people that like we've never even met before. So it was really awesome
and so,
to have them.
you know, we kind of did a woman's feature last month where we kind of featured several women in my gym, and I think that's one unique thing I think about us is I mean, guys are important too, right? But I think that a lot of women, they think that a lot of things that we do are too intimidating. And I think that's one thing I really would like us to focus a lot more on as we go forward is a lot of female and women stuff.
Right.
Because women are great powerlifters. Women can do strongman, right? Women can do jujitsu. Women can do CrossFit, right? And and they don't have, it's not like you have to be some meathead to do those things.
No, for sure. And I think that's what is awesome about our community. It's like, it's so many people there. There's moms, there's grandmothers, there's just people in their 30s and their early 20s. Like it's so many fitness levels and so many like different types of fitness that come.
So what kind of stuff are y'all gonna do? Obviously this is not gonna go out before the thing tomorrow, but just I'm curious, like what do you want to do tomorrow?
So tomorrow we're doing some strength work, more like my style of stuff, I guess. So working on mobility, because once I started hearing that people from outside of Grindhouse were coming, I switched it up. So we're gonna do just some kind of body weight stuff. Sydney, of course, went in the lab and created this awful partner workout.
Awful.
I saw it and I was like, I'm not doing that. No, it's
okay, but she is notorious.
Oh man,
for like these long ass
that's what I mean.
workouts.
So that's what she made, and I saw her and Heather do it. So it took them 15 minutes. So I project about 30, 45 for the average Joe.
So funny story, right? When I asked the coaches to help, which actually I need to get you to give me some workouts. So periodically, like I want the coaches to like give me some workouts, right? And so I'll like survey the coaches like, hey, give me 5 or 6 workouts. I'll get a bunch of workouts from coaches, and then I'll pepper them in to the CrossFit workouts and stuff. And the reason why I do that is because it puts a vested interest of I have personal biases for workouts. We all do.
Same.
But like it gets a personal vested interest in, hey, this is your workout. Also, when people complain, I mean like
Ben made
and so the funny part about that, I got Jared, I got Brooks, and then I got Sydney's, and I have used some of Sydney's, but all of Sydney's workouts,
Yes.
Chippers, they're like an hour
were
long.
like these giant page-long workouts.
Okay, but that's why Sydney looks like the way Sydney
okay,
looks.
I will admit, yes.
We're always like, one day.
There is some value, but like,
No, for sure.
I'm trying to program and I'm trying to hit all these different movements.
Sugar Watt's like, cannot compute.
I know, but like through the weekend, like I'll go through and I'll do programming, and I'm like, okay, if I'm doing monostructural work, I'm doing strength work. Am I doing squatting too much? Am I doing shoulders too much? And there's like a whole thing I put together of like where I'm hitting stuff, right? And with her workout, it's like one day.
Yeah, it's like
And
that's everything.
It just takes everything.
Got it.
We hit every energy system.
Right. All right. So we've got women's stuff, Jerry,
Yeah.
powerlifting. Is there anything else?
Man, no, I guess kind of speaking about Sydney, she's going to start bringing bodybuilding into the gym, which is pretty cool. I think we mentioned it last time in our videos, but now like the members have actually started to get those after parties. So if you've noticed, it's like, okay, I suck at saying this word. Hypertrophy. Okay, I did it. I'm not going to repeat it.
Don't say hypertrophy. Don't say
hypertrophy.
Don't say it.
But I knew it was hypertrophy. Dang it! I said I wasn't going to repeat it. Anywho, but it was kind of cool today watching everybody do like easy bar curls and then like do like dumbbell curls, because like you don't usually see that here at Grindhouse.
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
like 21s.
Yep.
Yeah, I pop into Iron City here and there, and I'm like for a leg machine that they have, and like that's just all that there is, and I feel so out of place, and I don't understand it. But then like I come here this morning, and everybody was bicep curling. Like Jaren had like no shirt on, and I was like, yeah, bring the culture here. So that's really cool, and the goal is to eventually have her have a program, for people that are more into that style of lifting. So I'm pretty excited.
That kind of brings up that there are some cool things potentially in the future of us like adding more of that stuff around here. So.
No, absolutely. I'm excited, and for another podcast, y'all can hear that stuff.
Dun,
Dun, dun, dun. Just know we're always trying to improve this gym.
Right. Okay, so that's it, right, for announcements?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so next part, like, we brought you on for a reason, right? So, like,
I'm just comedic relief right now.
I know.
Yeah, that is funny. Yeah.
It's like, you ever watch Tom Green?
What?
Oh
Tom
my
Green show?
God, no!
Y'all gotta stop
This
getting
is-
coaches that are under 30 years old. That
Hey,
might
hey,
help.
hey.
Might help.
That's true.
The Tom Green show?
I've heard,
Man,
This is the
I've
Tom.
heard of everything we've talked about besides that.
You know who Tom Green
Never
is?
heard
This
of
is the
He's
Tom
like an
Green
OG.
show. This is the Green Tom show.
Yeah.
Wait, no, it's not the Green.
Tom- yeah, it's
not the Green Tom show. This
is
is
my
sh-
favorite show.
Okay, so Tom
Because
Green
it's
was a
my
guy that
show.
came on MTV, had a show that was a parody show. It was a few years ago. But like he had a dude that would sit in the back, right? It was his friend that all he did was sip coffee the whole show, and just like when some joke would come out, he would like, and just out of
Just sit there for no reason.
he just sit there for no reason, and like that's all he did. That's all his whole role was.
Oh
Would
my
just sit, and it
gosh.
was like he was behind like this fake window, and he just had a coffee cup, and then like something stupid because Tom Green was very stupid.
Yeah, it's like,
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, he would just sit there and be like out of nowhere. So yes,
Maybe
that
we
is
should start
not.
adding one of those people in
I know,
here.
Right,
we're
but
gonna
hold
have
on,
it
but
with
that-
a
small
shaker, a
person,
protein
yeah.
shaker, just randomly shake it.
Someone pops in
Pop
the door
it,
every now and then.
Yeah,
So-
we'll have Nick just.
Hey, actually,
He's got a good laugh.
he would be good.
Horrible.
But then he would come up with some random.
He would start
Shit
talking.
to
Yeah,
say.
never mind. Next.
He'd be like, all right, name, thank you.
Never
thank
mind.
you.
Close the door.
Okay, thank you.
Did you guys hear about the video?
I feel like he needs to be a.
Nick is his own comedy relief.
It's
Oh,
true.
for sure.
But a lot of the comments now are like questions is him trolling. It has
I
to
Oh,
don't
be.
big
know.
time.
No, I just showed him how to dry the mop because he didn't understand how to use the bucket. That was real life.
I love that guy.
That was real.
I love that guy so much. I know, hope he never changes. But sometimes he asks me questions, and I'm like, I just stare at him, and I'm like,
You can't tell if it's serious.
but I don't know how to answer. I'm like, it's like my 4-year-old asking me, like, why the stars are blue. But actually, that's actually a pretty good, that question can be answered, but it's like some,
to a different story.
yeah, like sometimes I just stare and I'm like, in my head it's like turning.
Yeah, it's like-
Are you really asking this question? Are you trolling? Or like, I don't even know how to answer this question.
Yeah, and then am I going to be rude if I respond the way I would like to respond?
I love that guy. I love that guy so
yes,
much.
we love you, Nick, and thank you for cleaning our restrooms.
Yes, but never change, Nick.
Yeah,
never.
never change.
Okay, so you're not on here for just the Tom Green guy,
Yeah.
right? So a little bit about your background. So you graduated from Auburn,
Correct.
right? You have a degree in kinesiology.
So I got my undergrad degree, my bachelor's in exercise physiology.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And then after that, I went to Tennessee Tech. I got my master's in kinesiology. And then I also got my other bachelor's at Auburn in nutrition wellness.
Nice.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. So when you were at Auburn, I remember you telling me you used to work with gymnastics athletes.
Oh, yeah. So,
And then-
yeah, when I was in Auburn, I was a strength and conditioning coach for pretty much the entire time I was there, every year except for my first semester as a freshman. I worked with gymnastics, I worked with baseball, I worked this summer with football, I worked with track and field, throwers, swimming and diving. Softball was one of my main sports, throwers were one of my main sports, and then soccer as well. Soccer is kind of the reason that I even got into strength and conditioning.
So that was gonna be my next question.
Yeah.
So why are you doing this? Like, what makes you want to do strength conditioning, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so the whole reason my fitness journey kind of even started was because I played soccer my entire life. I always enjoyed soccer. I hoped to, obviously go professional, do all the et cetera, but what happened, I ended up not being able to go to college because of financial reasons, and I wasn't able to get into the school that I wanted to. And so I ended up going to Auburn, which is where my brother went, so I just kind of followed my family. I knew it was a good school. I actually went into Auburn as an architect major, which was so far
That's
away
very
from where
different.
Oh, yeah.
I did that too. I went in as
So
a
much.
broadcast journalist.
Yeah.
major. Maybe this was my calling.
Here we are.
Hey, actually,
Very
awesome.
full circle.
Wait, so
Golden Mike.
where are you originally from?
Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
Alabama. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I went there for architecture, immediately changed within like a month, went business, went business administration, then immediately, probably a semester after that, I went COSAM, which is our med school program.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, I was like, I don't want to be in school.
Man, you're
for
hitting
7
all
years.
the big ones.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Trust me, I hit every
Like
single one of them.
architecture, like
The only one I didn't hit was engineering.
engineering.
That's the only one I didn't hit.
Right.
But after the med school, that's when I went to exercise physiology first. That's when I was like, ooh, exercise is cool. I like that. I like doing that. I like going to the gym. And then I was like, this could take a little longer. I might be a PA, but we'll see. So then I went nutrition because I wanted to do dietetics. I wanted to be a registered dietitian. Because that was kind of, food was a big thing in fitness industry and all that kind of stuff at the time. Still is, I guess. And then I was like, oh, shoot, why not just combine all of it and get both? I've already been here for 210 hours of credits, so might as well just, combine them.
Nice.
And then, after 6 years, and 210 credits later of school, which is, I don't know if you guys know, that's a lot of credits.
That's a lot.
I ended up getting those 2 degrees and then a minor in business administration, so it kind of came full circle eventually.
How did you end up at Tennessee Tech?
So at Tennessee Tech, so that was when COVID started. I graduated, my last year was COVID. So March of 2020, COVID started, and that was the year I was supposed to graduate. So I didn't actually get to graduate. I didn't get to walk, never did.
Go ahead.
I got one too. Is it Amber Alert?
Yeah, Amber
Okay,
Alert.
I just got
Wow.
one too. I was like, what's that? But I kind of came in, and I actually was working as a foreman landscaping for a little while. And then after that, a guy that I used to work with as an assistant at Auburn, he told me he was working at Tennessee Tech as an assistant. And he's like, dude, I got a job for you. Would you be interested in coming back into strength and conditioning, being a GA? I was like, absolutely. I would love to be a graduate assistant. And then I realized where Tennessee Tech was, and at that time I wasn't necessarily a CrossFit
Yes, so we're gonna get
super
there in a second.
guy, but I was
Yeah.
like, ooh, CrossFit. And I had started a few years before that, and then went to Tennessee Tech. Right after, I guess it was the next January, I got hired in that semester. Worked as a graduate assistant there. Worked with pretty much every team there, just because it's a smaller school. It's not as big. Sports are kind of, everyone works with everyone there. There's only
Right.
one graduate assistant and 2 assistants and head strength coach. So worked with everybody. And my boss happened to be Matt Hewitt.
Matt Hewitt.
So
Interject a little bit.
yeah.
For those of you who do not know who Matt Hewitt is, Matt Hewitt has been around CrossFit since the early days.
Yep.
Tennessee Tech is very close to Rich Froning.
It's pretty much the founding place of
Correct.
CrossFit, honestly. Well, the Froning, I guess.
Yeah,
was
and so
Tennessee Tech.
the mecca of CrossFit is at Cookeville, Tennessee, CrossFit Mayhem Freedom, right?
Yep.
Or Mayhem, right?
Yep.
And then there's old videos of Rich Froning at Tennessee Tech.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, of him working out with Matt Hewitt, that whole group. So when this guy told me that a long time ago, I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on.
Wait a second. You got
Yeah.
to work out with Froning
Yeah.
and Matt Hewitt.
Yeah,
It's just like
so
the
cool.
old videos of Froning from 11, 12.
Yeah.
It's him. Like he has videos
Yeah,
of
they
him
are.
working out
Yep.
like at Tennessee Tech.
Wow. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
because I remember it's like a purple and
Purple and gold, yep.
Yeah, weight room and has big Tennessee
Yep.
Tech on the top
Yeah.
up there. Yeah.
Looks the exact same, too.
That's
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
That's the exact same. Because
So-
he was a graduate assistant, too, at
Oh.
Tennessee Tech. He
nice.
played football there, and him and Dan Bailey were both graduate assistants at Tennessee Tech.
Nice.
Wow, what a combination
Yeah, wow.
I know.
Wow.
from CrossFit. So,
Yeah.
did you go to Mayhem a lot? I mean, what was
Yeah,
your experience
so-
at Tennessee Tech?
It's really weird because at that time, that's when I got into Olympic lifting. But Matt Hewitt, who was once again my boss, he brought me back into CrossFit. I immediately got there, and he's like, hey, you like CrossFit? I was like, I mean, yeah. He's like, well, we don't do it here, sarcastically, obviously. We did a workout 3 times a day, honestly.
Wow.
Every single
Yeah.
day doing something along the lines of, hypertrophy stuff in CrossFit, a strength program, or anything along those lines. But I remember the first ever workout that I did there. All 3 guys that were working there prior to me got brought in by him, and they all did CrossFit. First one, I had never had done handstand walks in my entire life. Couldn't do them. Never had them. First one, he goes, you got handstand walks? I said, no. He said, all right, well, you're about to figure it out.
Dang.
So literally the first workout was like handstand walks,
Tuck and
strict
roll.
handstand push-ups, bar muscle up, which I didn't have at the time either. And he was like, just figure it out. I was just like, all right, here we go. Gonna jump right in the fire on this one.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I appreciate
Oh, wow.
him for all that stuff because, man,
Yeah.
it definitely made me a better, athlete because he pushed me a lot. And that
Right,
was
so
pretty cool,
that's
bro.
one of the reasons
Yeah.
why people go to train there all over the
Right,
world. Because if
yeah.
you compete and you work out with the best in the world, you
You
are going to
become,
get better.
Yeah.
There's,
for sure.
You can't help it. You have to
Yeah.
keep up.
Yeah.
You got to
They-
keep up.
They
Yeah.
definitely
Right.
don't, stop for you. You're not getting held on for.
Yeah.
So how long were you at Tennessee Tech?
So I was over there for a year and a half. I graduated semester early, and then pretty much came down here.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
So now you're training,
Yep.
obviously, at Equinox, which is sort of your full-time job, although we'd like to take you more.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Bringing it back.
Yeah.
It back.
So
So
what
if
is...
anybody needs personal training.
Yeah, well, that's exactly... Okay, hold on. That's exactly what I'm getting into, right? So kind of what is your focus? Like, I know kind of what you do at Equinox. You can talk about a little about your focus and at Equinox, what you do at Equinox and your training, but also like kind of the athletes and, certain coaches have a niche, right? You have a niche, Jerry has a niche, certain coaches have a niche.
Yep.
Kind of what is your niche if you have one? What are the type of athletes you like to see? Like what
Sure.
kind of services and personal training services you offer? What is your experience, when someone comes in, they say want to train with you, like what do you
Yep.
go through as far as like what would they do?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, if you guys know anything about Equinox, it's a high-end gym. It's like a Lifetime, but, even more upper class, I guess is what you would say. Just
It's
because-
River Oaks.
Yeah,
We know
River
what that means. We know what River Oaks is. It's fine. I know
I don't
you're not from here. We are.
Hold on. Look at you again. Like,
It's River Oaks people. Come on.
It's the 1%ers, I suppose. I'll put it
They're
up
not
there.
the dollar store people.
but you're alienating.
Central Market
Hold
people.
on.
No,
You're
I'm
alien-
describing the type of
The
general
demographic.
population, the demographic of his gym. It's not the dollar store
All right,
people.
I will purse this down and say that the River Oaks Gym Equinox people tend to be a little more wealthy than
Correct.
than the general
Correct.
population.
Correct.
Then,
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so
With that,
that
that
being
means
said, right?
that means their focus is probably a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not trying
And
to. Yeah.
the amount he can charge them is probably a little bit different as well.
Absolutely.
So-
Okay,
Yeah.
well, let's go back to, let's start there.
Okay. So, like I said, at Equinox, you get it's a general population people. So you're not doing the same thing you would normally do with an athlete, just because it's typically older adults, and then typically like single individuals that are in their middle ages that are just looking to go to the gym.
Right.
Nothing. You're not trying to compete in anything. They're just trying to come in
Right.
gym, stay healthy, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of what I've ended up doing as I've worked there is corrective exercise stuff, mobilities and all that kind of stuff. So I don't necessarily do a lot of strength and conditioning training like I used to,
Right.
or sports performance training. I have a few people that I've kind of brought into it because I'm like, oh, I need some of this. I need some of you guys to help me, because it gets monotonous at some point. But
Right.
corrective exercise is a lot of stuff that I do now, and even here, like we were talking about the strength program that we've been doing now. I noticed that there's a lot of weaknesses in unilateral movements and unilateral strength training that we don't necessarily do too much of here.
Yeah, so to that point,
Yep.
so just for the general people listening, and Ben came to me, it was probably like 3 months ago, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, I've been interested, would you be interested in me doing some programming? I was like, hell yes!
Yes.
Right? And so he was like, I want to do like a unilateral cycle. I was like, oh, okay, but we were fixing to gear up. We were right in the middle of
Yep.
like open prep. And so strength work kind of goes a little bit out of the wayside during open prep. Because you don't see a whole lot of strength in the open. I mean, every
Right.
once in a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One rep max.
One rep
thing.
max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thruster, but it's like
Yeah.
it's so unpredictable
Yeah.
Yep.
that you have
Right.
no idea what you can plan for strength work.
Right.
Like I could have planned like one rep max deadlifts, and
it wouldn't have been.
It wouldn't have really worked.
Not even been
Yeah.
relevant.
So
Yeah.
he came to me and I said, "Yeah, that sounds great, but let's wait till after the open."
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why that's awesome, it works as well, is because when we're doing Murph, because as soon as the open's over,
Right.
we have cycles through the year, and I switch over to Murph training after the open.
Mm-hmm.
And so Murph is a lot of running, it's a lot of body weight exercises,
Right.
but all that running, it's a lot of unilateral work.
Yeah,
and
it's
so
true.
the strengthening for unilateral work, it's perfect. So
Yeah.
all the split dumbbell lunges and single
Yeah.
arm
Stuff
carries.
you guys hate so much right now because you've
Right.
been doing it for 3 weeks. I promise it's beneficial.
Yeah, and it's actually cool. We've never had a cycle like that before.
Correct.
So, like, it is cool to see, a lot of people doing it. And I know there's a lot of people, like Ro is in here always working on our members. So, finding those deficiencies and, like, really focusing
Well,
on it.
and also that was one of the reasons why I was very interested for you to come in to join us, because we like to kind of bring people on staff from internal, right? I mean, like Jared came to us outside, right? But you have a completely different perspective on fitness and strength training, and and all that stuff than all of us have. And so you have that experience from Auburn, Tennessee Tech, the CrossFit experience, and that stuff. And so your perception and your mind, like, it's very different from ours. And so to bring something else into for our members, I think is very beneficial. And like, because, you know, it's been 9 years.
Sometimes it's like, man, I don't feel creative. Like, I actually just reread the conjugate system. Like, the West Side came out with another version of, like, the book that Louis put together. And I was like, I just need to reread something. Like, you know, so.
Because I've been programming. I've been programming for a long time, right?
Yeah, I know. And so look, I have literally, like, 5 journals right there because I'm old school. I like to write things down.
Right. And so some of my stuff, it gets repetitive. Like, we start, and you get biased to doing some of the same things over and over, and you don't realize it because you're like, it's you, right? So to bring in an outside perspective, do something completely different, I think it keeps things interesting. And we have people that have been here for 9 years. So
and I totally stole your ABC Pal-Offs.
Oh, yeah?
Like, my clients did them all week, and they were like, you want me to spell? Like, and I was like, yeah. Like,
so when I first read that, I was like, what the hell is he talking about?
I don't know if you guys have ever done it, but it is not an easy thing to do.
No.
Pal-Offs are like my go-to.
So I was
like, oh, the ABCs, that's genius.
Creative. Right, because I was like, okay, Pal-Off. I get that, but like I was like, what the hell is he talking about?
No, I totally knew the minute.
And then I messaged him, and I was like, hey, man.
You gotta explain some shit.
I was like, this is good and all that stuff, but you're gonna have to explain some stuff, right? Because, you know, the coaches, me, like, we're not gonna, like, if I just put this up here, people aren't gonna understand. So you're gonna have to provide a little bit extra commentary.
Right. No, it's funny.
Yeah.
And then it became the, like, turn around halfway through, and it was like, well, what letter is halfway? And I was like, Elemento, this one letter. Turn around.
All counts.
Yeah, it all counts. Elemento.
That sounds like some Harry Potter.
I know, right? Yep.
So, back into your personal training, right? So, you do a lot of personal training at Equinox. That's kind of your focus. But here, I've actually been trying to get you involved. Alyssa's been trying to get you involved in personal training. For a new client, let's say we got someone who comes in, they opt in, they want personal training, we push them to, what kind of experience can they expect from you? Like, take us through the whole experience of personal training, evaluation, all that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I kind of have like a consultation. I do like my own, I've kind of taken a little bit of everything that I've done from everywhere and kind of put it all into one little, what I call is a needs analysis situation. And I kind of meet with them just for an hour and talk to them about, you know, what their training style has been or what they've done in the past, what they currently do now.
Right.
And if they don't have anything or if they haven't had anything, you know, we all kind of start at the same place, honestly, just because everyone can start in the same place. I could take you and go from, you know, gear 1 and still do the same kind of stuff because you're probably going to need it, right? And age doesn't really matter either. There's a few movements that I'm obviously not going to put someone that's 75 years old and that's, you know, someone that's 20 years old. I'm probably not going to do the same stuff. But
unless you got Carrie Schrader
yeah,
in here.
You know, maybe it's a little bit something different.
My 67-year-old kicks butt. No, just kidding.
Max overhead squats.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally.
Maybe
so
we'll
find your
do
max
those.
snatch.
Yeah. First day, too.
For
sure.
Sure.
But kind of go over, you know, their kind of needs and everything that they want, and then I kind of discuss of what it would entail starting off, which is really just kind of going through certain body weight movements.
Right.
And I start off with square one with that. I take everybody through like a movement screen, making sure they're moving correctly. If they're not, we make sure that they get those corrections that need to be fixed, which is those corrective exercises that I really harp on nowadays. And then, you know, kind of going from there, that's when we start progressing forward. I always take about a month just to get people through a first little phase of something, just in general, moving correctly.
Right.
And then that's when I start nutrition. Nutrition plays a huge role in what goes on as well. And a lot of people don't necessarily realize it, but it plays a big role. And
such a big role.
Oh, yeah.
The majority of it.
Yeah. Like you I mean, I'm not going to say you don't have to come to the gym, but I'm saying that that's 3/4 of what it is. 1/4 of it is what I would consider working out.
Right.
But with that, I kind of move people through just a stability phase, through a strength phase, and then if they ever want to do athletic movements, we'll take them through a power phase. That's when I start to really hone in on where I kind of came from, which was weightlifting, the Olympic weightlifting stuff. Taking them if they ever want to do that kind of stuff, which I think it's a great movement. Olympic weightlifting, clean and jerk, and snatching. It's a great way to learn how to use your body and learn proprioception.
Right.
So when I gather for you, like you have a full process from start to finish of everything you can provide.
Big time.
Someone that comes in.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I don't think you particularly have any focus, right, you'll take pretty much anybody.
Yeah, it
Right.
doesn't matter. You can be in a wheelchair. I actually have clients at Equinox that are in wheelchairs. And
Oh wow, that's
yeah,
interesting.
awesome.
Yeah, so like there's people with disabilities that can still do stuff.
Oh, of course,
Like
yeah.
right, they still need
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
function, right?
Right.
Quality of life is huge.
Oh,
There's a
absolutely.
guy, I don't know, I remember, I think his name is Mike, like Rule or something, but he's a power lifter, and the dude is in a wheelchair.
Oh yeah, the guy that benches. like.
And like he benches like 4 something.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's like my size, but his lower half he doesn't have.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's like,
he's like in the woodlands.
yeah, like he's an
Yeah.
awesome guy.
Yeah.
So like being
So
disabilities,
cool.
wheelchair, it doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
that's very
Sure.
interesting that you have clients like that and you have
Yeah.
experience with that. So I guess the broader point is that you're open for business.
Yeah, always open for business. Just let me know, like just hit me up. You don't have to.
Right. And
Get
so
it
I
going.
think, for the broader audience, we are trying as owners and as a group and as a gym in general, we want to push a lot of people that because we have so many people that have little needs and wants.
Right.
They want to work on specific things.
Right.
And so sometimes in class, they're not necessarily getting those. That's not a
Yeah.
fault of the class or anything. It's just like we have
No,
an
just
hour.
sometimes you need more.
You need
Yeah.
more,
Yeah.
right? And like we have a bunch of people that don't work on their butt, and that's
Yeah.
fine. Like
It's true. I think
Big
Jared
time.
has a whole group
Yeah.
of people doing
Right.
posterior chain work.
right, but like some people want to do unilateral work, and
Yep.
sometimes they don't necessarily get some of those things in the class. And so
Right.
I think one of the reasons I want to bring you on, but also just broader for the general population, our coaches and all that stuff, is we want to allow people avenues that have those wants and needs
Right.
to go to our coaches and say, hey, I need help,
Yeah.
Yep.
right? And then
Sure.
I'll be like, Ben can help you.
Here's
Yeah.
your guy.
Here's
Yeah.
your guy, right?
No, for sure.
Because it helps them, right?
Mm-hmm.
It helps you as a coach with experience, right? You
Mm-hmm.
get paid a little extra money, right? But it helps the whole gym as a whole.
Yep.
And so I don't think a lot of times people understand
Mm-hmm.
that we do offer a lot of that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. And that's really something that, I think I've said it in the previous podcast. Like this year, I really wanted our coaches to like kind of grow within the gym. We have our set classes, but like once people have done that, like you're going to want more like specific things, like you said, like even myself, I've been programming for some of our members who have been here for years, but now I'm really able to be like, okay, let me help you Ty and, Kim, like Ty the other day, he was like, I think it was more aesthetics he wanted, but he realized he benched for 6 reps, his like 1 rep max the other day.
Oh, yes!
Yeah. I was there for that.
Yes!
Yeah, and,
Saw that.
and so he came and he gave me a hard time. He was like, they told me to just trust you and I would see results eventually. And then he told me that and I was like, yes!
It's
And
crazy.
he got a PR the other day, too.
Yeah,
Yep.
like
And he was going to quit. He
It
was
was about
gonna
like what, 20 pounds too? What
No,
is
no,
it?
no, it was 5.
Yeah.
Oh,
But, like, but that's still, I'll take a pound.
yeah.
I would take 1 pound.
At that point, why not?
Yeah. And so,
Good.
like, he kept pushing the weight, and we were actually not supposed to max out. And I'm like, are you feeling good?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm like, we're going to push it.
Yes.
Because, I mean, sometimes when you,
Yeah,
especially
sometimes you're in it.
when you
Yeah.
get a little bit older, right? the
I don't have money of these days.
It's true.
Same.
It's so true.
Yeah.
26 and I say
So-
that all the time.
Oh my God, come on.
Just wait.
So I tell people, I'm like,
Yeah.
this is the program. Like, if you're feeling good one day and we're doing
Yeah.
like doubles or singles,
Yeah, you're not going to hurt yourself.
like,
but, yeah.
go for it.
Right.
Because you don't have good days all the time.
Right,
Yeah.
for sure.
You don't know when your next one's gonna be.
Yeah,
either.
and
Like,
especially
exactly.
him, like he hurt his shoulder a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago, so we kind of like
Right.
pushed it back a little bit.
Yep.
So that's awesome to hear. So
Yep.
yeah, like
Yeah.
And if I was sponsored, I'd be like, this podcast is brought to you by EliciFit. I'm just kidding.
there it is.
That was like,
Hashtag sponsor. Hashtag sponsor.
I watch too much Joe Rogan. Sorry, anyways. But yeah, like just going back with what we're saying, like each of our coaches has like something that they're really good at, but also like we're such fitness nerds. Like this is
yeah.
our thing. Like all of us have such a big range of clients as well. Like I think that's what makes this place awesome. And like even like when you guys aren't here, like we're also working out, like watching what everybody else is doing. Like sometimes I'll piggyback off of Jared's and I'm like, oh, I like that plank variation.
yes.
And then I used it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've
so-
learned multiple things from you.
Yeah.
I
Same.
learn from the coaches all the time.
Yeah.
Right?
For
Because,
sure.
and,
Especially in warm-ups, like
right, like,
when
everybody's
I see
got
Absolutely.
different.
other stuff on the board. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, everybody's got
like, that's a
ideas.
great
Like
idea.
everybody's got different perspectives,
Yeah.
and I think that's one thing that we really do a good job of as a group, as coaches. Like, we don't all of us feel like, hey, he's better, or I'm better. Like, I know
Yeah.
you have stuff that I don't know,
Yep.
right? And so I pick up stuff from you, like,
Yep.
oh yeah, okay, Jared, same way, Brooke, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I follow Bench Bros programming for the past I don't
Yeah.
know how long. Like, and I'm like, yes, like I
Don't
weigh
tell him.
140 pounds, but I can bench like 165.
Yeah.
Like you know, it's like it works.
Yeah.
Like all our people know stuff. Like, that's
So-
what makes it awesome.
Going forward, right? We hope that you can pick up a whole bunch of clients, help a whole bunch of people out here.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same.
Yeah. We want you for a while. And also, like, even, you know, those members, like, you have Jared who works the weightlifting, but, like, also Ben. Ben is great at weightlifting.
Ben is
you know,
great
if-
at weightlifting.
Yeah,
yes.
if you need, you know, just doing, like, a private lesson with, like, hey, can you help me, you know, work on my snatch or my clean and jerk and stuff. Like,
Right.
you know, we're available for all of those things. You know,
Sure.
it doesn't have to be, like, I need to do just the 6-week thing. Like, you know, I'm sure you're open to doing stuff
Yeah, for
like
sure.
that.
Well, so
different
thank you.
workshops.
Thank you for being a part of this
For
gym.
sure. Absolutely.
Yes.
I hope you're a part of this gym
I
for
love
a
it.
very long time. Okay?
As long
We
as
usually
I
make
live like
people
10
do-
feet away, I'm definitely
Very
coming to
long
the gym
time.
always.
Okay. All right.
For sure.
So, last part of our segment is one of my favorite parts.
Yes.
Right? We always talk about members,
Yep.
our member spotlight. I know we all have our people, but I'm gonna go first. Okay. So my member spotlight this month or this podcast is Angie Salzmann.
Yeah,
So-
Angie.
Angie actually has PR'd the crap out of a lot of stuff
Yes.
recently.
Making strides.
Yes. And I'm
Yes.
like, wow, okay. But beyond that, from a personal standpoint, one of the reasons I want to highlight Angie Salzmann is because she's kind of like the mom of our group. Really, and she comes in.
Kinda.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
In like a good way. Like
Yeah.
a really
in a
good way.
Like she comes in, she's surrounded by a bunch of dudes,
Right?
Yeah.
And she
Knuckleheads, not even just dudes.
No,
Knuckleheads.
yeah, knucklehead. And some of the things that come out of some of the guys'
my
mouth,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
And she just puts up
Oh,
with
gosh.
it.
I'm like, oh my
Okay.
god, you know, like I'm sitting here from that's pretty funny,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like I'm an owner, right? And it's
Right.
like I'm thinking about some of the comments. I'm like, guys, we have a woman in our mix.
Yeah.
Like you can't make those comments.
Oh my gosh.
But not only that, though, she takes those comments, right, and she's like, she spouts it back,
Yep.
right? She's very smart. But the other thing is, for me personally, like, she's really helped me a lot lately. I'm gonna try and keep it together. But if y'all didn't know, my grandfather passed away last week, unexpectedly. My grandfather was like my dad. He'd been there for pretty much my entire life, and it was very hard for when he passed away. And then the week before that, Courtney's cousin passed away from a drug overdose. And so it's been a little difficult at our
Sure.
house,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And then when my grandfather passed away, like, Angie knew immediately, like, something was going on. And so she's helped me a whole bunch personally, like, just talking with me. She always talks to me. She's there, but she's not
Pushy about
Yeah.
it, yeah.
She's not overly there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in fact, she gave me a book. It's a children's book, but it talks about grief and stuff like that. And then also she wrote Courtney and I a really nice letter. And I've broken down to her a couple times, and then she sees it sometimes because I like to take everything that I have emotionally and
Yeah.
like I'm putting it back, right? So, but she's been there for me just in presence a lot of times, and I've really been thankful for that for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. And so,
For sure.
Angie, if you're listening, hopefully you're still listening
No.
after about, an hour at this point?
Yeah, we're at an hour. This might be one of our longer
Yeah,
ones.
so I really want to thank you a whole lot. You have no idea how much you have helped me, and you'll probably still continue to help me for a long time because
Sure.
there's days that have been very hard in this gym, and she knows it, but she's there for me. So
Yeah.
I really want to highlight Angie Salzmann.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sure.
I kept it together.
Yeah, you did
Made
it.
it. Made it happen. Made it happen.
It was coming. I kept it together.
It's all
Okay.
good.
All right, so Ben, you want to go next?
Yeah, so mine's actually kind of recent. Mine was what's Bo's last name? Anderson,
Anderson,
right? Bo Anderson. Yeah, I've kind of been working with Bo for the past 4 weeks now. I mean, I've only been here on Thursday nights, but every single Thursday night, Bo's come in here at 6 p.m. Worked his tail off every single workout. I even talked to him yesterday. I was like, hey man, you're coming in with huge strides. When did he start? Back in February? Beginning of
Yeah,
February?
it's been just a couple months.
So basically,
so-
like he started, and then the Open started.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he jumped head first.
Okay,
in the
but
Open.
he walked in.
Yeah, randomly. I told him to come in on Friday.
He walked in and goes, "I'm here to sign up," and I was
Yep.
like, "For something?" like for the gym. He's like, "Yeah, like just right now. Here's my card." And I was like, like right now, like you've never even taken a class, and so it was awesome. So yeah, and then he showed up just guns out.
The moment that I thought was so awesome about him was, I think it was the second open night.
Second one.
With the
When he
snatch.
finished it. Yep.
Yeah, it was with the snatches, right?
Yep.
And the whole group was standing around him. We're talking, this is a brand new member.
Right.
Yeah.
He's been with us for what, 2-3 weeks at that point?
Maybe, yeah.
And man, he is busting his ass.
That's
And the
awesome.
whole group was sitting there cheering him on. And like, yeah, he comes in, he's really nice,
Yeah.
right?
Overly nice guy.
Yeah, dude, I felt so. While I'm coordinating the open, he shows up and he's like, "Is there a 6 o'clock class?" And I was like, "It's the open." It's like, "What's the open?" I was like, "Hold on, like someone help him!" Like I felt so bad. I was like,
Yep.
"I don't know, just sign up."
Good workout, yeah.
Just put your name on a heat. You're
Okay,
fine.
yeah,
It's
we
fine.
did. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So I
But,
did
yeah,
see you
so-
talk to him yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday I was talking to him and I was discussing with him, like, you know, you've come in, like I said, with strides, but you're nailing things, and I really hope you're like looking at more goals because, and he said he was like he keeps it in his head. I was like, dude, put on some paper,
Yeah.
find some new stuff to work on, hit some kipping pull-ups, hit a certain number on your back squat. Don't just come into the gym, and this goes for like everybody too. Don't just come into the gym and just kind of be here.
Yeah.
Have a reason to come to the gym. Find
Right.
some goals to set, even if it's not necessarily just the goal of being in the gym, but putting some numbers on there.
Yeah,
working on a
absolutely.
technique of yours, gymnastics,
Right.
some type of strength work. If you have some type of injury, work on that injury. Make sure it's getting better. And Bo's been doing that. Bo's been
That's
coming
awesome.
in and making sure he does everything right. He even talked to me about the unilateral work yesterday, and I was like, "Ooh, you're the first person to come talk to me about it."
Yeah.
Let me sit and talk to you a little about this.
Yeah, I love it.
And I was like, yeah, dude. And he's been just, like I said, just absolutely killing it in here. And I've been super proud of him just as a coach for someone that comes in and gets work done, does the extra work,
Yeah.
and, just, like I said,
Yeah.
super proud of the dude.
Dude, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
he's been awesome.
Yeah.
I really like him.
That's cool.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so big shout out, my dude.
Yeah.
Big shout out, my guy.
What's up?
Man, I'm honestly, it's kind of broad. It sounds silly, but like all the women that have been staying after to do Sydney's bodybuilding stuff, like they are like dedicated. Like Anna and Ursula in the morning, like
the
Joe.
9. All right,
Yeah,
me
even
being creepy
at 6
again.
a.m.
Yes.
I was,
They're here for like 2 hours.
The day that you left, what was it, yesterday?
Yeah.
They were in here for so long.
Yeah, like they are.
It's like 11 o'clock.
I see them every
Yeah.
morning on the cameras.
Yeah,
like,
it's awesome.
That whole
like,
group.
like I think like we're all of us are like usually here in the afternoons and all the programs are going, but those like early morning ladies from like 5 a.m. all the way till about 11, like they're in here for hours, like putting in the work. So shout out to all my ladies in the morning that I hang out with. For sure.
That's good.
So going forward, right? While you talk about bodybuilding, like what is the plan for rolling out some additional stuff?
Yeah, so we want to continue doing the after parties for April. Hopefully by summer, because everybody's schedules kind of free up. And, we used to have a women's class at 11. So maybe just kind of putting it something at 8 or something at closer to 11 where we're just focusing on that bodybuilding.
Awesome.
And that's kind of the goal. Like switch it up a little bit.
So, and I promise you, yes, there is some big stuff potentially in the works regarding that. So,
Stay tuned. We need sponsors for our big
Help.
project.
Yes.
Just kidding.
Who's willing?
Yeah.
well, I really appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad that you came on. Like, it's been an
Yeah.
hour.
No, for sure. And honestly, you're like a great asset to the team. Like I think the first few weeks you were here, I threw you into videos with us and like treated you out at Chick-fil-A. That's what Cooper calls it.
Oh, Chick-fil-A.
I bought everybody Chick-fil-A and made everyone do videos with me, and like you were game about it. You
For
had
sure.
great stuff to do, and so yeah, I'm excited to have you.
Absolutely.
Happy to have you.
Stay here forever.
Stick around as long as I can.
All right. You ready? Wayne's World! Wayne's World! Party time!